everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. Oh, we're starting a new series, 4 under 40. What are the best bottles under $40? Alright, so shouldn't be a super long series, but tonight we got 4 bottles under 40, wink wink, but we'll see what are the best 2. We'll pick the top 2 and then we'll compare them to some additional bottles later on, and then we'll always have 4 under 40. I know, it's a fun thing to say, right? First up tonight, Woodford Reserve. We talked about this one before. This is a nice Christmas edition 1 liter that we had in, I believe it was in the Advent calendar, as well as top 10 bourbons for Christmas video, which I'll link above. But Woodford Reserve, great for mixing. This bottle is actually extra fantastic, so good for neat pours as well. Delicious stuff. Matching up with that is Old Forester 86. So this bottle is empty. We kicked it here. The last pour is in this blind down here. The old screw top. But hey, it's a super cheap bottle. I believe it's like 19 bucks in PA, something like that. But it's got the Old Forester flavor profile, and it's 86 proof. So if someone comes over that's not a bourbon drinker, like my cousin, she comes over and she goes, "What should I have? I don't like bourbon." I pour a little bit of this 86, because it's a nice low proof. It's good. Shouldn't hurt anybody, right? And this bottle's kind of cool. It's got a little bit of like raised Old Forester lettering, but it's good stuff. So that's in here tonight as well. Next up is Old Forester 100. The big bad brother to Old Forester 86. Not available in Pennsylvania. Let that sink in. Not sold in PA. The heck's going on here, right? This is an iconic mixer slash neat drinker for those on a budget. But again, 100 proof. This is like, I think we paid like 22, 23 bucks for this in like Delaware or something like that. But they can range up to 30. But again, still fairly cheap. 30 is kind of overpriced for them, but anything below 30 is good price. $20 range to 30. Man, this one though does have a few fun facts on the label. This whiskey is distilled by us only. Well, no shit, who else is distilling Old Forester, right? And we are responsible, well, for its richness and fine quality. Its elegant flavor is solely due to original finesse developed with care, right? I almost can't laugh reading that. Whatever intern they let at Old Forester write that up, I don't think they got a job. This is a pretty bad label, and it's funny that they've never changed it. There is nothing better in the market. I mean, it's good, but Old Forester makes better things in the market. So this is just like a hilarious label that I had to read for you guys here. And, there'll be a close-up on the screen for sure. Alright, now last but not least, Cooper's Craft Reserve, 100 proof. Now, for those of you that watched it, this was on my list of top 10 bourbons of 2021. So this might win tonight, because none of the other ones made my list, but I didn't actually have the Old Forester 100 at the time, so we'll see. It'll be a good comparison. Cooper's Craft Reserve, owned by Brown-Forman. So we look up here. Everything up here is Brown-Forman. Woodford Reserve, Old Forester, and Cooper's Craft. There's like a 4 under 40 for Brown-Forman. That's what the title should be of this video. The old shtick here for Cooper's Craft Reserve is that the barrels are chiseled after they're charred to allow more whiskey interaction with the wood. This bottle I got, again, not available in Pennsylvania. The cheaper bottle is, but not this one. This is like 33 bucks. I believe I paid for this in like Virginia. So available in most surrounding states. but also a fairly cheap bottle. And I mean, look how classy it looks, right? If I saw all these on the shelf, which one am I buying? Probably this one. You know, it says post-char chiseled interiors, right? Sold. Sold. If I read that label on the Forester 100 about finest quality, we're responsible, finesse, you're like, alright, this is a gimmicky whiskey. But this here is a pretty good bottle, pretty good label. So, let's get into them. Alright, so I will hold this up. Here's what we have here, my Bourbon bar flight board. And you can't really see it. I don't want to tilt them so they fall off and spill everywhere, because my wife would kill me if these spilled all over the floor in the basement here. But they have 1, 2, 3, 4. They're numbered on the thing here, so we'll just go through them together, okay? We'll give a few tasting notes. You'll see on the screen what they are, and then I'm going to rank, you know, 1 through 4. Numero uno, number 1, for those that go by it that way. Some caramel, hint of cherry. Smells like Old Forester, I must say. I think this is one of the Old Foresters. Let's give it a sip. Holy smokes, that's good. Wow. A lot of caramel. A lot of caramel on this one. Vanilla. Hint of barrel char. Whew! A delicious nose and a delicious taste. Alright. Glass 2. Immediately smells younger. A little bit of like cream of corn scent on here. Some youthful grainy scent to it. Underneath that though, there is some caramel on this one. And vanilla. Also a good nose, just the first one smelled older. Let's take a sip. Whew, that's good. Tastes better than it smells. It is a little grainier on the palate. It's obviously less proof than the first one. Very good though. So far these are both very good. This one for me would be second though, just out of the first 2 we've had. Alright. Glass 3. A little bit of like a faint hickory wood smell to this one. Faint cherry, not as much as glass 1. And then a lot of grain coming through on it. Let's take a sip. Very easy drinking. Very sweet profile. I believe this one's also an Old Forester. It doesn't taste that high proof. It's a little thin. So I'm going to guess this one's actually the 86. It's going to get third so far out of the 3 we've had. Last but not least, number 4. A little bit darker. So almost the same nose as 3, but just a little bit darker. Just a little bit deeper on those scents. So I still get the graininess. I still get like the caramel, the vanilla, like a little bit of oak, but it's just, it does have that graininess that glass 3 had as well. Let's give it a tasting. I mean, finish lasts longer. It tastes just like an improved version of number 3. So, I'm going to guess that one was the Old Forester 100. That's going to get third. So, I won't spare you, but I'm going to go back through these, and then we'll make sure those rankings still stand. Alright, so we're back. Went through them in reverse order. We had a little bit of a shift. Number 1 still in first place. Number 2 actually took second. Number 4 took third. And number 3 took fourth. Either 1 or 4 were the 100 proof ones. That's my guess. I think number 1, my winner, I think is actually Cooper's Craft, only because that did make my top 10 of 2021, and it was the best by a good margin of this tasting. I think last place is the Old Forester 86 because it was the thinnest, kind of the most grainiest. And I think 4 was then Old Forester 100. And 2 means that would be the Woodford. So let's see if I was right. Nailed it! Number 1, the winner tonight, Cooper's Craft 100. Smoking the competition easily. If you have not had one, go get it. I wish Brown-Forman paid me to say this, but this is criminally underrated. Criminally. For how cheap this is delicious bourbon. Alright, number 2, which was number 2 tonight, was Woodford Reserve. So another kind of a shock. I actually thought Old Forester 100 would get second, but it went to the Old Woodford. Now, I think this is a somewhat unfair comparison because this is a holiday. I believe it's like 2020. It's a little bit older now. This bottle was a little bit special. The regular Woodford was not this good. So I don't think they meant to do that. I just think it ended up being that way. But this is a very good Woodford. Your standard Woodford would have gotten third. That's all I'm going to say. Would have gotten third, most likely. Alright, and in third place, Old Forester 100. Now, I will say that although this got third, it was very close between this and second place. Both had some youthful notes. This had a longer finish, but I thought there's just a tinge more caramel to number 2, the Woodford. But a different day, this could have got second. And last place, Old Forester 86. The first really good cheap whiskey I had when I first started my bourbon journey. It's worth a pickup if you just enjoy a really low proof, an easy sweet sipper. For me, I'm into like the older stuff now, the higher proof. They get 4, so it will not be moving on in our category, as well as the Old Forester 100 is now off the list. So the 2 moving on in the 4 for 40, contest here is the Cooper's Craft Reserve 100 and the Woodford Reserve. Those 2 are moving on. So stay tuned to see those in another video with two additional bottles, and we'll see if they still compete. So if you like what you saw tonight, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to get to that 1,000, folks. Have a great evening.